Some of the most beautiful places in England completely disappear at high tide. And today, I'm taking you to one of them. This is the secret coastal path from Seaton to Beer in the southwest of England. A walk you can only do at low tide. I call it secret because most people don't even know it exists. I actually grew up near this coastline, part of the Jurassic Coast, and it's one of the most dramatic and beautiful parts of England. People rave about the limestone arch at Durdledore, but I've got something even better for you, a hidden cove with a spectacular rock formation at the end of this walk. It's a little bit tricky and even a bit dangerous to reach, but absolutely worth it. Stay with me and I'll show you how to get there safely. And make sure you stay until the end. I'll show you my favourite place in Seaton to grab some proper British food after the walk. Before we start our walk to the secret cove, we need to talk about the tide. The tide is the movement of the sea. It goes in and out twice a day. We also say the tide is coming in or the tide is going out. When the tide is at its highest level, this is high tide. When the sea is at its lowest level, this is low tide. Here in the southwest of England, the tides are very strong. The difference between high and low tide can be up to 5 meters. That's a lot. If you're German, this might surprise you. The Baltic Sea is very different. There, the water level hardly changes, usually only 5 to 10 centimeters. Before you walk this route, you must check the tide times. A good website is tideschart.com. It shows a 5-day timetable and a clear visual chart of the tides. For example, today the next low tide is at 2:44 p.m. So I would start my walk at least 1 hour, maybe even 2 hours before low tide, just to be safe. And please be careful, you could get trapped. The sea comes in very quickly, and on this walk there is only a small space between the sea and the cliff, like here. So, if you started your walk at low tide, and maybe it would take you an hour to get to the secret cove, then when you started to head back, the sea would already be coming in, and, well, the space that you can see here, that space would probably disappear and you would have to swim, which is extremely dangerous because there are many rocks under the water that you cannot see. So please, please, please check the tide times before you do this walk. And please start the walk 1 or maybe 2 hours before the lowest tide so that you don't get trapped. We're going to start the walk on the beautiful stony beach at Seaton. The tide is currently out. It's a low tide. In fact, it's still going out and will come back in about an hour. So perfect timing for our coastal walk to the secret cove. You can see the cliffs on the right, which is where we're heading. As we walk along the stony beach, you can hear the sound of the stones crunching under your feet. It's a wonderful noise and feeling. Now we're almost at the end of Seaton Beach, and here's the view looking back towards Seaton. But we need to continue along this way towards Beer Beach. Because the tide is low, you can see all the rocks that are now exposed. When the tide is in, all these rocks are hidden by the sea. There are so many beautiful and interesting rocks and rock formations to see. And there is always something different that you notice. This time I saw this cool rock and hole that looks just like a fish. And there are rock pools. You could easily spend a couple of hours here just looking at the rocks and into the rock pools. But we need to continue because we want to get to the ladder at Beer Beach before the tide comes in. Let me just jump in here and ask, have you subscribed to my channel? If not, please do it now, and don't forget to turn on the bell button, the notifications button, so that you don't miss any new videos. Just before the ladder, there is a very cool rock formation. Even if you ended your walk here and went back, it would have been worth it. This is not the secret cove and rock formation, but it's pretty cool. I recommend you spend a few minutes here to enjoy the view and maybe take a few photos. Now we're looking back at the cool rock formation. This is the last part before we reach the ladder and go up to Beer Beach. You can see that the tide is out. Normally this would be hidden by the sea, a few meters underwater. We just need to walk over these rocks to the steps and ladder. And here's the ladder up to Beer Beach. To be honest, this isn't that easy. You need some upper body strength to climb up this ladder. Once you've climbed up the ladder, you can see the whole of Beer Beach. It's very cute with all the little beach huts. Beer is a small fishing village. Here you can see the fishing boats which go out every day to catch fresh fish. There are also a few beach cafes, but more on that later. Up there is the top of the ladder where we came up onto Beer Beach. Because the tide is out, you can see the flat rocks. But this is only possible when the tide is really low. Let's keep going. We want to get to the secret cove and rock formation. And if we don't hurry, the sea will come in and the way will be blocked. We're heading over there between the sea and the cliffs. It's very exciting. We're almost there, but we have to be fast. This is me running through a narrow part of the walk with my son filming me from behind. I almost got wet feet. The secret cove is just around the corner. But first, let's look back at where we came from. In the distance, you can see Seaton. To the left, you can see Beer, where we were just a few minutes ago. Look at the rock face here on the left. You can see the dark colour. This is where the sea is when the tide is in, which is why it's so important to check the tide times before you attempt this walk. To our left, there's a very nice cave that's worth looking at. From the inside, this is the view, looking towards the secret cove. If you look to your left, you will see this amazing opening in the cave, with a fantastic view across the sea. And then look with me to the back of the cave where you will see some cool natural purple, or is it pink, colouring on the rock. Even though this cave is really interesting, we must keep going. The next section is a little bit tricky. You need to climb over some rocks. Be careful, sometimes they can be slippery. But it's going to be worth it. We're almost there at the secret cove and rock formation. This is the reward at the end. The doorway to the hidden cove. The rock formations here are incredible. Natural archways, layers of stone and colours you usually only see on postcards. Let's just take a quick look back at where we came from. You can see the cave that we were in just a few minutes ago, and to the right, Beer Beach. Let's go through the natural stone doorway to the cove, and here's a selfie I took looking back through the stone doorway. You can see Beer Beach behind me, and this is what I can see right now in front of me. This is the secret cove. A cove is a small sheltered beach surrounded by rocks. And this cove is only accessible when the tide is very low. Isn't it beautiful? Check out those spectacular rock formations. So beautiful. It really is worth making the effort to walk to this secret cove. But now it's time to head back before the tide comes in. And please be careful. You really can get trapped, and it would be very dangerous. Once the sea comes back in, you really can't get through, and swimming is not a good option. There are so many rocks in the sea, it really is dangerous. By the time you get back to Beer Beach, I'm sure you'll be hungry. We were. You could get some food from one of the cafes on the beach. Please check the opening times, they aren't always open in the winter months. Earlier in the year we ate here at this cafe. We had a sausage roll and some chips, and the ice cream is also really good. When you get back to the ladder on Beer Beach, if the tide has come in too much, then you will either get wet shoes, or you could walk up over the top of the coastal path, which is also really nice with fantastic views across Beer Beach and across Seaton and the sea. Finally, I want to tell you about my favourite place to eat in Seaton, the Coast Cafe Bar. It's right on the seafront and has wonderful sea views. Today I'm going to have a full English breakfast with a glass of locally brewed ale. So delicious. And I'm going to finish up with a cappuccino and a piece of cake. I have to say, this cafe does one of the best cappuccinos in the world. I hope you enjoyed the secret coastal path from Seaton to Beer and the secret cove at the end of the walk, plus all the interesting sights along the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and see you again really soon with the next video.